Well, again, I just want to reiterate my appreciation for each of you guys being here and for allowing me to be here. And I thank you so much for coming and listening to me speak. So again, my name's Stephen Bagley. I'm with the University of North Georgia. And so the first question I kind of posed is I asked, how familiar are each of you with the University of North Georgia? So the first question I asked, how many campuses does UNG have? I can't remember if I answered that question or not, but does anybody know? 5. Yes, great. We have 5 campuses. Does anybody know what those 5 campuses are?
I thought it was 3.
Gainesville. Gainesville, yeah, that's one. Does anybody know where any of the other ones are? All right, so there's the Gainesville campus, which is probably the closest. And then there's the Dahlonega campus, which is our only campus that has on-campus dorms. Then there's our Cumming campus, which is probably the second closest to here. And then we have our Coney campus, which is just right outside of Athens, about 15 minutes outside of downtown Athens. And then we have our Blue Ridge campus, which is way up in the mountains. Does anybody know how many majors we offer at UNG? So we have close to 60 majors at UNG. Does anybody know exactly what they want to study?
Somebody wants to do criminology here. I think somebody said criminology. Who else? I'm trying to think. I'm looking at people who else they wanted to do. Speak. Mercedes, what do you want to be when you grow up? A teacher. Education?
Yes.
No, she does.
Do you have political science?
We do.
See?
We certainly do. Yes, we have, so criminal justice, we actually have 2 pathways with criminal justice. We have forensics, a forensics concentration, and then we just have criminal justice. I saw your hand up. No? Okay. And then also education. We have early childhood education, we have middle grades education, we have high school education. Now, high school education is a little bit different because there's fields of study that you would teach in. So there's like you would be certified to teach in English, certified to teach in math, certified to teach in social studies. So, you know, those are the different fields, and we offer all of those fields. Yes, ma'am?
Do you have like anything for communication?
We certainly do. Yes, we have multiple majors in communication. We have public relations. We have multimedia journalism. We have our film and digital media studies is also wrapped up within our communications program as well. So certainly, yes, we have multiple options for communication. Yes. All right, cool. So I'm going to start out by telling you a little bit about the college search process, and then I'm going to talk specifically about the University of North Georgia. So just the first question that I have for you guys is, when should you begin searching for colleges? Now, this is kind of a trick question because you could begin as early as your freshman year, but when do you think the college search process should start? Junior year. I heard, who said junior year? All right, good deal. Yes, junior year. That's my thinking. But you could start as early as your freshman year. And so basically what the college search process entails, obviously you should try to do your best in high school courses because your high school GPA is going to follow you into the college application process. And here's my answer to this: beginning of your junior year at the latest. So obviously that high school GPA is going to follow you into the college application process. Also, your junior year, that's about the time where you should take your SAT or ACT the very first time. I would probably recommend to try to take it your sophomore year. Now, most of you guys are seniors, right?
It's different grades, junior, senior. It depends on the credits. Yeah,
okay. Okay, cool. All right, so your junior year at the very latest is when you should take the SAT or the ACT for the first time. So the next question I have for, sorry, that was, I showed the answer to that question. Maybe some of you didn't see it, but the next question is, what should you do to determine what school is best for you? Did anybody see the answer? So my line of thinking, to best determine what college is the best fit for you, you should go take a tour of that college. And whenever you're visiting a college campus, you'll have this feeling that, man, I really feel like I belong at this location. And also you'll have this feeling as well. One of the things that I tell students all the time is, do you see yourself living, and could you see yourself living in that particular location? Take out the college. Can you see yourself living in that particular city or wherever the college is located? And if you feel like that would be a great fit for you, then that's the college that I would recommend that you choose. Most of the time you're going to have this sense that, man, this just feels like the right place whenever you visit a college campus. So that's what I would recommend that you guys do. That's my best recommendation, to try to find what the best fit for you personally is, to take a college campus tour. Now, if you're interested in visiting UNG, go to ung.edu, and once you're there, you can scroll down towards the bottom of the home page, and it shows pictures of each of our 5 campuses. Just click on the picture of the campus that you want to visit, and then just follow the links, and you can set up a campus tour for the University of North Georgia. So we would love to have you guys come and check out UNG. Okay. All right, so the next question, do you know, and I kind of asked you guys this earlier, do you guys know what it is that you want to study? And I've heard criminal justice forensics, I've heard teacher education, and I've heard communication. So whenever you're looking at colleges, I would recommend that you take a look at what the school offers, the majors that the school offers, because if you know what it is that you want to do, and if that school doesn't offer the particular major that you're looking for, then I wouldn't recommend looking into that college. So that's going to be my recommendation. If you know what it is that you want to do, take a look at what the school offers, and then that's going to tell you whether or not you should apply to that school, or maybe even visit that school. So definitely take a look at that as well. All right, so what schools should you apply to? All right, and the answer is there's numerous admissions procedures for each school that you're going to apply to. Now, the first one that I want to talk with you about, when you're preparing a list of the colleges that you want to apply to, there is going to be, the first is a school that you're confident, that you know that you're going to get accepted to. And then the second is you're 50-50. You're not sure if you're going to get accepted to that particular school. And then also there's what's known as the REACH school, which you're not necessarily sure that you're going to get accepted to that school, but you're still going to apply or think about applying anyway. So basically, when you're thinking about colleges, kind of put these, when you're preparing a list, kind of think about these 3 categories when you're thinking about which schools that you want to apply to.
And what I used to always tell my kids is like your dream school, okay, your first choice, like you said, your first choice, your backup just in case, something doesn't work out. Let's say you get accepted to your first choice, but you have to pay a little bit more than what you thought. So that's why you have the 50-50 is your backup, and then your dream school. Because you know what? You still apply to your dream school, because you're never going to know if you don't apply. If you got accepted, fabulous. If you didn't, you already know. But that's why, and like I tell you guys all the time, I'm a plan A, B, and C person. You should always have plan A, B, and C. Because if you get accepted to all 3, then you have the option of the financial aid packet, or the distance, or whatever it is that makes you make that decision. But you should always, in everything, have at least a backup plan.
Certainly. So when I think about dream schools, I think about schools like Stanford, Duke, Harvard. So if you have those kind of schools as the dream schools, and then obviously the confident schools, and like. Also, you have the financial aid packet too. So also you should think about what schools that is going to offer you the most in scholarship money. So definitely keep those as well. Definitely keep that list. All right, so if you're in your junior year of college, what should you be doing now? I'm sorry, if you're in your junior year of high school, what should you guys be doing? All right, so you need to take your SAT or ACT in the second semester of your sophomore year of high school. And colleges expect you to do better in your second or third attempts. So if in the first try you don't necessarily get the scores that you're looking for, then in those second or third tries, you're obviously, most of the time you're going to do better in those second or third attempts. And then also, scholarship opportunities are going to be based on your involvement at the particular school. So keep a list of your involvement opportunities. It's going to help you when you're applying for scholarships. And then also you're going to practice writing college essays. Now, not all colleges have college essays. Or college entrance essays, so definitely keep that in mind whenever you're applying to particular schools. Now at UNG, we don't actually have a college entrance essay that you have to do, so you don't have to necessarily worry about completing those college entrance essays for UNG, but certainly can definitely need to know some tips on how to do that. And I'm going to talk more about that as we continue throughout the presentation. So there's 3 different types of college applications out there. So there's what's known as open access. And basically what open access is, that's going to be where the admissions process is very lenient. So there's not necessarily very strict rules. And then you have a selective admissions process, and that's what UNG is. We're going to talk about the UNG admissions process towards the end of the presentation. And then there's the holistic approach, which is more or less looking at your extracurricular activities, looking at what you do in your outside of the school as well. So those are the 3 different admissions processes that colleges have. So I mentioned earlier that I was going to go over some tips for writing a college entrance exam. And whenever you're writing, if a particular school is asking you to write a college entrance exam, these are just some tips and tricks for writing that exam. First of all, you want to write about something that's important to you. And then second, you want to keep your focus narrow and personal. Each of you have a personal story. And people want to know about that story. So if you can write about something that's important to you, write about personal experiences, people want to know that. So certainly that is definitely my first encouragement, to write about something important and include personal stories as well. And also, if you're trying to be funny, that can be difficult. So you don't necessarily have to be funny in your college entrance exam or college entrance essay. And also, you should start early and write several drafts. Use your own voice. Answer the question being asked, and have at least one other person look at your essay. So what are some tips on taking the SAT? And some tips for the SAT reading portion. Now with the SAT, you're going to get counted off for a wrong answer. So remember that. You want to try to make sure that when you put an answer down, that you're pretty confident about the answer for that question. So usually when you're on the SAT reading section, there's going to be 3 answers that certainly, sometimes it's kind of tricky to determine the right answer. So what you want to do first is you want to eliminate the wrong answers. So if you, yes sir?
I thought they changed the rules. I thought the wrong answer doesn't count for.
From what I've been told, I think that the SAT, now the ACT, you don't get counted off for the wrong answer. Now the SAT, from everything that I've been told, that you still get counted off for the wrong answer.
It's just that I got the 2019 SAT and I read it, and it says something about you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That may be the case. That's just in years past. I know that's that basically in your past you've been counted off for putting a wrong answer. That may be right now with the newest SAT. And then also you want to read passages strategically, not necessarily read every single word of the passage. And also make sure that you look at the introductions for the passages that you have to read, and then look for direct evidence within the passages whenever you're reading those to answer the questions. So maybe a strategy would be to kind of read the questions first and then go back to the passage and read the passage, and then that can kind of help you with determining the answer to the question. All right, so the SAT math portion. So you want to look at the most important parts of the question on the math. Also, you want to memorize the formulas. And also focus on filling the content gaps first. So if you're not necessarily confident on a particular subject in math, you would want to start with those particular areas first, and then from there go back and try to answer the ones that you're not as confident about. All right, tips for the ACT. So on the ACT, you don't get counted off for a wrong answer. So basically what we recommend on the ACT is pick a letter of the day. So maybe you could pick C or A as the letter of the day. So if you're not confident about a particular question, if you just guess and put A or C, you're not going to get counted off for it on the ACT. So you know, that's definitely a different strategy between the SAT and the ACT. And work questions out of order. So if you're more confident on a particular question, answer that question first and then come back to a question that you're not as confident about. And then kind of similar with the SAT, you can eliminate the wrong answers first, and then go from there. Once you've eliminated the wrong answers, you can go and find the right answer after you've eliminated the wrong answer.
Does ACT punish you for guessing?
They do not. They do not.
Does SAT punish you for guessing?
And so I was actually, in years past with the SAT, if you put the wrong answer, they punish you on the SAT. And this gentleman here was just saying earlier that he's got the 2019 version of the test, and they actually say that you don't get punished for that. So I haven't, in my studies, I found that on the SAT, generally, if you do get counted off for putting the wrong answer on the SAT, but that may have changed recently. Now I know the ACT, you don't get punished for guessing, and that's actually part of the strategy. If you choose a letter of the day, such as A or C, if you're not sure, you won't get counted off if you put the.
And I proctor the exams, and I'm going to be honest. Even proctoring, I personally like the ACT proctoring. It's more relaxed. You don't get as many sections. You do, but they're broken down a little differently. So I personally like to work the ACT. I notice the kids are a little bit more relaxed on the ACT. Just remember that when you take one of these exams, it's on a Saturday at about 7:30 in the morning. So it's not, you know, if you have a problem coming to school at 7 or 8, imagine showing up on a Saturday. But you know, if you take the exam on a day that you're not stressed or you're not thinking that you're going to graduate and you have to get into college, you just take it the first time and you relax. It won't be as stressful. And each time you take it, they'll pick the highest score as long as you send it out to the colleges. So if you do well the first time in one section and the second time you do like, and you do it again, you'll send, they'll keep the highest score as long as you send it out to them.
Awesome. Cool. Well, now I want to talk with you specifically about the University of North Georgia. First of all, I want to start with some quick facts about UNG. So we've already talked a little bit about the University of North Georgia. We're 5 campuses, 1 university. Excuse me. We offer around 60 bachelor programs altogether at UNG, so there's a lot of great opportunity available at UNG. But let's take a quick look at some more quick facts about UNG. And UNG was established in 1873. We've also received some recent prestigious awards. The 2018 edition of Forbes magazine named us one of the nation's top colleges. The 2018 edition of U.S. News and World Report ranks among the top 16 public universities in the South. And then the 2013 edition of Kiplinger's named us the #1 best value for low student debt and top 100 best values in the nation. So I promised that we take a look at the admissions process for UNG. Now, it can be a little complicated. UNG is very unique in that we offer 2 admissions pathways with 2 different sets of admissions criteria. I don't know of any other school that has 2 different sets of admissions criteria. So UNG is unique in that way. So the 2 different pathways are the bachelor's pathway and the associate pathway. And you'll notice that I've got 2 different charts. So on the left-hand side, you'll see the associate pathway requirements, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see the bachelor's pathway requirements. Now, the thing to keep in mind, our Dahlonega campus, which is the only campus that has on-campus dorms, they only offer the bachelor's pathway. They don't offer the associate pathway. Now, our Gainesville campus, which is probably going to be the closest to you guys, we offer both pathways on the Gainesville campus. And the associate pathway requirements aren't as strict as the bachelor's pathway requirements. Now, my recommendation, if you're going to be starting on our Gainesville campus or any of the campus that offers an associate pathway, I recommend that you start in an associate pathway. And there's 2 reasons why. Number 1, the first 2 years you're taking the exact same courses as a student that's in the bachelor's pathway. And then number 2, tuition is actually less in our associate pathway. So for those 2 reasons, I actually encourage students to start in our associate pathway. Now again, obviously if you're on our Dahlonega campus, you have to start in our bachelor's pathway. But again, on the left-hand side, you'll see the minimum requirements for our bachelor's pathway, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see the minimum requirements for our bachelor's pathway. Not really going to go into too much detail on there. Well, let's do. Sorry. On the, you'll be looking at this redesigned SAT. And when you're looking at your score report, you're going to see what's known as the evidence-based reading and writing score, which is a 3-digit score. We're not actually concerned with what the evidence-based reading and writing score is. We're looking for the reading subsection score. And the reading subsection score, minimum requirement for the social pathway is a 19. And then on the math, it's a 360. And then on the ACT for our associate pathway, it's a 12 English, 14 math. And then for the bachelor's pathway, it's going to be a 26 reading subsection, 480 math, and then 20 English on the ACT, and an 18 math. And then also the minimum GPA requirement, minimum high school GPA, the absolute minimum is going to be an overall 2.0. And now that's basically on the required high school curriculum, which is the English, Math, Science, Social Studies, and Modern Language courses. Just keep that in mind that that's only on that required high school curriculum.
Did I miss it? I'm sorry because I stepped out, and I'm just working with them. Can they take the
Yes,
the compass slash whatever.
Now for Georgia Gwinnett, you actually don't have to take the SAT or ACT.
Right.
Now for UNG,
you do. You can't do any other one. Okay.
Yes, we do have to have
the scores are okay. I mean, for the 2-year program, the scores not bad.
Yeah, and I actually, and I was telling them earlier, I actually would encourage students to start in our associate pathway versus the bachelor's. And there's now our Dahlonega campus, which is our only campus that has on-campus dorms. They don't offer the associate pathway. They only offer bachelor's.
A lot of students usually go to the Gainesville one.
Perfect.
A lot.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So the good thing about starting in our associate pathway is that tuition is less in our associate pathway, and they take the exact same courses.
Yeah, so you could do 2 and 2. So if you don't have the GPA, if you're not ready to stay living on campus, on a dorm, you still want to travel back and forth, the Gainesville one I think is the closest to here.
It is. It's about.
Well, we have kids here from everywhere. So we have kids here from Shiloh.
Okay.
So it depends where you know.
Where they live.
Or or the coming one.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I would actually, for our Gainesville campus, I would actually encourage starting in that associate pathway because tuition's less and it's the exact same course as those first 2 years. So our deadlines, the deadlines that are fast approaching, actually, I should have changed this, but most of you guys that are seniors, you'll be applying for this upcoming fall 2019. Now, what we need to complete an application to the University of North Georgia is an application itself, which you can complete through Georgia Futures. And then we'll need your high school transcript, then we'll need your SAT or ACT scores, and then for in-state tuition, we need what's known as proof of lawful presence. Generally, the easiest way to satisfy just a copy of your driver's license. So those would be the items that we would need. Now, if you're applying to our Delaware campus, February 15th is our deadline. That's very fast approaching. However, our other campus deadlines, priority deadline is March 15th, but the actual deadline is not until July 1st. But now, I wouldn't encourage waiting until July 1st to start the process, but definitely would, you still have plenty of time to apply for the fall semester, especially if you're applying for our Gainesville campus. Now, our Coney campus, they reach capacity sooner. So I would actually encourage, if you're interested in that campus, I would actually encourage that you go ahead and start the process immediately. But for Gainesville, you've still got plenty of time for fall. All right, so again, I appreciate each one of you guys being here. I've got some packets of information. Also, I've got some pens and some stickers in my business card. So if I'd love for you guys to, yes, ma'am.
Do you guys not do scholarships?
We do have scholarships. So we offer, we obviously have the Hope Scholarship and we have the Zell Miller Scholarship. But besides those, we have academic scholarships that we hand out to students that's based on academic performance. Then we also have leadership scholarships, and leadership scholarships are going to be based on your extracurricular activities. And then you don't have to apply for those academic scholarships or the leadership scholarships. Now also there's the federal scholarships. By completing the federal scholarships, such as by completing the FAFSA, you're going to apply yourself for all of the different federal scholarships that are out there. And then we have what's known as foundation scholarships. And an example of what a foundation scholarship is, let's say that your parents are Jackson EMC customers for their electricity. One of the questions I asked, are you a Jackson EMC customer? So they're looking specifically to award scholarships to a student that meets the criteria that they're looking for. There's businesses in the area that donate those foundation scholarships, so that's also another type of scholarship that we offer. So there's numerous scholarships available. If you're interested, you can go to ung.edu, and there's a search option in the upper left-hand corner. Just search scholarships, and it'll tell you all about the scholarship opportunities that are available at North Georgia.
I'm passing things. You should have. I'm having a rough day today. You should have two things. If you're interested, if you fill this out, you'll be on their mailing list, and that way you can find out anything that goes on campus. They did, when I first came to Gwinnett County 9 years ago, no, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, they did tours for counselors, and one of the tours that we did was at UNG, and that's how I found out about the school and how much I liked it, and the tradition. I don't know if he mentioned, but like for example, since they have a JROTC program, they do the canon at
Our Delaware campus, yes.
They do a canon at 8 in the morning every morning, and it's, if you're not used to it, you just hear this bang. You can't walk across the field you would have if you're a freshman or something. You have to walk and it's like the size of a football field. So it's all these things that, that have these traditions that may seem silly, but you become part of the school. So,
yes.
Like I said, if I would have graduated from a high school here in Georgia, this would have been the school I would have loved to attend, because you're far, like I said, you're far, but you're near. If you want to come home, you're not that far. You're up in the mountains, you're not up in the mountains. They have a little town, which is
yes.
gorgeous,
Yes.
places to hang out. There's Georgia, the outlet mall if you guys want to shop. I mean, I just think it's a nice little campus. So if you're interested, I'll pass these around and just fill it out, and that way they can get your name and stuff like that. And he also has cards if any of you guys are interested.
Yes.
If you don't want to fill one out, that's fine, but just keep in mind, this is a good opportunity for you to get on their mailing list, and you don't have to do some research.
Yes, ma'am.
You pay first semester, right? First semester? Or how do you do it?
Yes, it's per semester.
Yeah, when you do your FAFSA, when you do the financial aid and the FAFSA, which I'm going to do another workshop on helping you guys do, which is very complicated, but the college could also help you do. It's based on your taxes, and then you do the FAFSA every year. Yeah, unless you're gonna start in the summer and then you have to start in another way. Anybody want to?
So speaking on the FAFSA, for the seniors in the classroom, you'll be completing, and most of you guys would be applying for the fall 2019 semester. You would want to do the 2019-2020 academic school year FAFSA. Now, if you wanted to start a semester earlier, let's say you wanted to start summer 2019, you would need to do both the 2019-2020 FAFSA and the 2018-2019 FAFSA. So definitely, it's complicated. But now, one of the things that UNG offers, one of our biggest selling points is that we have our Corps of Cadets, and with our Corps of Cadets, we're one of 6 senior military colleges in the nation. That's just about 10% of our population, but it definitely is a selling point for UNG. We're one of 6 senior military colleges in the nation. We produce numerous Army officers for the United States Army. So
Anybody need a pen to fill anything out?
Okay. And you guys are more than welcome. I've got some stickers and some business cards. You guys are more than welcome to have the pens there.
Okay, I'll give you the pens. I'm a pen fiend. Did everybody sign in?
Anything like related to designing and stuff?
I'm sorry?
Like design?
Designing or architecture?
Oh, okay. We don't. Now, engineering is a very similar pathway. We do have what's known as our Regions Engineering Program. And basically what our Regions Engineering Program is, you would start your first 2 years at UNG, satisfy the first 2 years of your degree, and then transfer to one of our partner schools. Our partner schools are Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, Kennesaw, Georgia Southern. You would do your first 2 years at UNG and then transfer to one of those schools and then complete a bachelor's degree in engineering. And in years past, how that program has worked, if you've had a 3.0 college GPA and a 3.0 math and science GPA, you would automatically be accepted to one of those transfer schools. So, yeah.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
Hey, before we leave, it would be awesome if we could just get up for just a second and stand right up here with Mr. Bagley. We're going to take a picture with Ms. Perez and you guys. Come on up there, man.
Come on, you know how much we love to take
And then we're going to pull the gift card for the
Mercedes has a
person that's the happiest up there.
So
let's go, up forward.
Hold on, Mercedes has a question.
Put it in.
What's the question, Mercedes?
Your GPA, does it matter, or can it be like?
So for our 2-year pathway, the associate pathway, the absolute minimum GPA is a 2.0 high school GPA. Now for the bachelor's pathway, it is more competitive for our bachelor's pathway. But again, I would encourage you, if you're going to be starting on our Gainesville campus, I would definitely encourage starting in that 2-year pathway. Once you've got that done, you can internal transfer to either our Delaware campus or to another school to complete your bachelor's degree.
So at Gainesville, it can be 4-year class, 4-year too?
We do. We have about 25 bachelor programs on our Gainesville campus.
So if I'm doing the 2-year, I can just do, if I want to do the 4-year, but I want to start off with the associate, I can just go ahead and finish off in bachelor's for two more years?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So a bachelor's degree usually is 4 years. And depending on your degree, you can do all 4 years on the Gainesville campus. Did you have a question?
We're taking a picture of her with the group for council.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Do you got a program for digital graphic design?
Graphic design, yes, we do.
Picture.
Come on.
Let's go, because I have to go.
She has to go. Let's take a picture.
Hurry.
I have to go. Dale.
Gracias.
Dale.
Bye.
Andale.
I love my children. They're small, but they're wonderful. They're not just in height, personality.
Hey Steve, do you have a slide where it's got the UNG stuff on it?
Yeah.
Hi. Do I want this? I'm trying to start a diet. You don't want it?
Let's see, this may be the best one.
Okay, sounds great. That's awesome. That's beautiful. Slide a little bit more this way, Steve. That's awesome. Okay, here we go, guys. Y'all are awesome. One more just for fun. Hold on.
You said one more.
I did say one more, but I think we're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Especially to my...
And don't forget, if you filled out a little card, give it back to him, please. And I'll be back. And make sure you guys signed in, so that way you could win. You could be eligible for the raffle.
Chris.
I got one.
Thank you, I have to go somewhere for a second, but he will take care of you.
Okay.
You're in good hands.
All right. Well,
Thank you
thanks again.
again.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe I'll have a future.